Hi guys, I'm Jason White. This is my channel, Weird Reads. Welcome back, and if you're new here, welcome. Recently, actually, more like a couple months ago, I was tagged by Scott over at Book Invasion to do this over 30 book tag. And I'm going to link Scott's video down there where he tagged me and where he did the tag, obviously. And This tag was originally created by INKNOTBLOOD, and I'm going to tag that video down there as well, so let's get into it. Prompt number 1. Name one of your favorite books that features a protagonist who is 30 years or older. And I went with The World According To Garp by John Irving. That book is just funny. Of course, it's not just Garp being over 30, it's pretty much his entire life. But one thing I really enjoyed about the book is how he changes when he has kids. He starts like chasing cars, running after cars, yelling at them if they're speeding through his neighborhood. And my own perspective changed when I had kids. It's quite incredible how the world just suddenly changes just because you had a kid. And so, yeah, I'm going to go with World According to Garp by John Irving. It's a good, fun book. Prompt number 2. Name a book that represents who you were when you were younger. And I just went with part of a book because it's like 4 or 5 stories that all intermingle. And it's Hearts in Atlantis by Stephen King. And the first story, Low Men in Yellow Coats. I could identify with Bobby Garfield. His childhood was a lot like mine in that he didn't have very many friends, and neither did I. And he also was raised by his single mom, which I was also raised by my mom, who was single, and my grandmother too, actually. But yeah, so definitely Hearts in Atlantis. Low Men in Yellow Coats. Name a book that represents where you are in your life right now. I'm going with, I'm cheating here. This tag was surprisingly hard to do. But I'm going again with The World According to Garp because of what I was talking about earlier with the chasing cars. Now, I don't chase cars, but 5 years ago when me and my wife had our son, it really changed the world for me. It was just an eye-opener. Suddenly, you're not a selfish being anymore. You have to take care of this life, and you have to raise this life and teach it things, and suddenly you're very afraid for this other individual's life. And so suddenly you're thinking about things you never thought of before. So definitely, again, World According to Garp. It's a great book. If you haven't read it, you should go check it out. Prompt number 4. Name a book that represents something that has never changed about you. And for this, I went with Video Night by Adam Cesare. I went with this book because I'm totally trash for 80s horror films. Anyone who knows me knows that I love 80s schlocky horror films, and I always have, even when I wasn't all that far removed from the 80s, and that's probably why I like them so much. Because when I was a kid, that's all I watched basically was 80s horror films, and I haven't seen them all. In fact, I just watched a few recently that I haven't seen before, and they were a lot of fun. And the kids in this book, they do this every night. Not every night, like once a week. They have like a video night, as the title suggests, where they watch 80s horror films. I think it's 80s horror films. Anyways, the book itself is very much like an 80s horror film. It's very, very fun. I highly recommend it. Prompt number 5. Name some of your favorite classics. Or, sorry, not some, but one of your favorite classics. And I went with Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky. I went with this because this book had me thinking the entire way through reading it. It's just an interesting concept of a guy deciding to murder someone just to change the world, even if a little bit, and to take out somebody whom he felt was a bad person. But the whole process, the book is basically an examination of murdering someone, which is, and you know, the process that one would go through before, during, and then after murdering someone. And it spoke very realistically to me. Murder's obviously something I could never do, but so in that sense, it was fascinating to watch that process. It's a very dense book, very thick, and it took me about 2 or 3 weeks to read it, but it was one of those books that I was just like glued to and thinking about the entire time I was reading it. And then I went and watched the old movie, which is nothing like the book, of course. It's like from 1940 something, I think. It's still a good movie, but yeah, Crime and Punishment. And prompt number 6, name a book you like or would like to read that was published in the year you were born. So I guess I'm going to age myself here, and I'm going to go with Carrie by Stephen King. And it's actually one of Stephen King books that I haven't read yet. I know, blasphemy. I've seen both movie adaptations, and I like both of them. It's just one of those books I never got to. It's a short one, so I should probably get to it and just, you know, get it out of the way. It's like I said, it's one of Stephen King's earlier works I haven't read. I've read most of Stephen King's earlier works, if not, well, not all of them, because I haven't read Christine either, which is another book I really want to read. I think those are it, though. Oh well. Alright, so thanks again, Scott, for tagging me in this video. Sorry it took so long for me to get to it, but you know how life is sometimes. And so go give Scott a visit at Book Invasion. And thanks for watching, everyone. Keep being creative, and I will catch you in the next bookish video.